Well, comrades, Chairman and comrades, well, this is a really marvellous rally today, and I think really when we talk about expulsions, it would be remiss of us if we didn't send a telegram to the witchfinder John Golding wishing him a happy retirement. Comrades, it's just over 2 years ago since I, along with other good comrades, was expelled from the Labour Party. And those expulsions followed the months of the Great Slander, as we term it in our book. And it recalls the statement Trotsky made in his History of the Russian Revolution. The government, the courts, the intelligentsia, the municipalities, the Soviet majority, the capitalists, their authors, their orators, the slander poured down like a Niagara months before the expulsions were carried through. And at the bidding of the Tory front bench and the press barons, the right wing of this movement unleashed the most ferocious witch hunt that has ever been seen on the Labour movement. Norman Tebbit, the Chingford skinhead, actually congratulated Neil Kinnock on dealing with the Liverpool militants, and the press, of course, was fulsome in its praise. And afterwards, in July of 1986, Neil Kinnock, who's in danger, by the way, of going down in history as the Bobby Robson of British politics, actually said that militant had been marginalised and would not constitute a force in the Labour Party in the foreseeable future. And in order to smash the Liverpool Labour Party, he installed a bureaucratic witchfinder who had the disposition and the outlook of a rounded-out Stalinist, a man named Kilfoyle, whose name shall live in infamy in the history of the the Liverpool Labour Party. And this individual, supported by a network of traitors, of stool pigeons, of informers, carried out a systematic campaign of harassment against militant supporters and close allies on the left, closing down party units where militant and the left were in a majority, pushing out and refusing to recognise left delegates to the Liverpool District Labour Party. He did the bidding of Mr. Kinnock and his acolytes. Comrades, all of Mr. Kinnock's twists and turns are welcomed with ecstasy by the press barons. And he lives in such a dream world because he believed that Rupert Murdoch, Robert Maxwell and the rest of the gutter snipe reflect and are expressing public opinion. And he goes on record and he says that the left are frozen in the past when he himself has inherited the ice age of Gateskill, of Wilson and Callaghan, is systematically abandoning socialist policies and is butchering his position with expulsions and a constitutional reign of terror inside the Labour Party and inside the Young Socialists. He accuses the left of not wanting change. Let's make it absolutely crystal clear. We want change. We want a change of leadership, and we want a change from capitalism to socialism. That's the change that we're prepared to accept. But I finish on this note, comrades. And it's because of him that the Labour leadership trails in the polls against the background of a vicious Tory government. Unlike Liverpool in the last May elections, and I'll finish on this note, Chairman. I'll finish on this important note. In the last May elections, Labour and Liverpool, in spite of another campaign of slander, scored the highest Labour vote, the highest ever, even higher than in 1945. The only literature put out by the Liberals attacking our comrades contained the militant masthead, when Labour candidates were denounced or praised as militant supporters. When the results came in, they were absolutely astonishing. George Hill, standing in Everton, took 90% of the vote. Leslie Mahmood took 78% of the vote. Sylvia Schaefer and Frank O'Donoghue scored the highest Labour vote ever recorded in the wards in which they stood. What an answer to the sceptics on the right in British politics. Labour won 58% of the vote, the highest ever recorded. Comrades, I've said it before and I'll say it again. And I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of Harry Smith, of Paul Asbury, of Felicity Darling, of Alan Fogg, the other members of the 47 who are in this hall today. In spite of all the consequences of surcharge, of removal from office, of job victimisation, of crippling debts, if we had the same choice, we'd go down exactly the same road. Because to do anything else would have been a complete betrayal of the working class who elected us to office. Chairman, Ronnie Reagan may need the services of astrologers to predict what's going to happen in the future. Militant supporters prefer to rely on the method of Marxism. Understanding that method, we know that our best days still lie ahead. A great contest is unfolding on a national and international scale, and the prize of that contest is socialism on a national and an international scale. We remain confident that we'll win that prize.